Coming up, high heels, stilettos, espadrilles, not flats, and something called the Hourglass Syndrome. We're going to talk all about that here on this edition of Depraved and Debaucherous. My God, I cannot say the name for the life of me, but I'll get used to it. Depraved and Debaucherous. Thanks for listening in or watching the shows you do right here on YouTube or at my website, kingofpodcasts.com, or wherever you find the podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, Amazon, all those great places. So first story I want to talk about is that women in high heels are perceived as more attractive, feminine, and higher status. Well, you know, one of the things I heard about when it comes to high heels, the reason why women want to wear high heels is because the way their posture looks. Because part of it is their rear looks better when they're wearing a pair of high heels. There is that thing that's be said about that, and the way they look and the way they walk. And guys pick up on that really easily. That's why we do like girls in high heels, and it does look good. I'm not even a preference to that, but I can appreciate a girl that was a nice dress and high heels and just seeing, wow, there's a difference. I can see what they're talking about. So there's now a study that talks about it. Research recently published in Personality and Individual Differences. High heels have been a staple of women's fashion for years, and the study had almost 500 college students from the northeastern U.S. to do examples. So they answered demographic information, were shown two silhouettes, one woman with high heels, the other in flats. Participants rated the woman they saw on her attractiveness, strength, femininity, health, status, and more. And analysis were done after this. Results showed that the silhouette wearing heels was more attractive, more feminine, and less masculine than the silhouette wearing flats. Consistent with previous research that suggests women wear heels to bolster their attractiveness. It's the way the body is shaped. A woman's body is shaped, and for some reason they figured out how this works, and it kind of does work. It's amazing that it does. There were no significant differences with how participants rated personality variables, such as intelligent, affectionate, friendly, or successful. But with guys, we're not worrying about that yet. We don't know you yet. We're just looking at you in high heels, all dressed up and put together. That's the part. Male participants rated both silhouettes as having better mate potential than female participants. They wanted to figure out the body of research on how wearing high heels can affect perceived attractiveness. And there is limitations. One is that the study utilized silhouettes rather than real people, affecting the perception of participants. And the sample is largely homogeneous, making it difficult to know if results could generalize. No. If you have women wearing high heels of whichever size, shape, color, whatever, there's still an attractiveness about a girl wearing high heels. There's something about it. Well, there's so many women that buy them in the first place and willing to be uncomfortable wearing those kind of heels as well, which is amazing. The other story I want to bring up here is women suffering from Hourglass Syndrome, a real disorder. So there's a TikToker named Nikki Garza that talks about what it's like to live in the condition. And I'm going to bring up that story real quick here. And it's the idea of how what they call stomach gripping. I'm going to really quickly open up the page again so that her story pops up first. And you'll see the girl come up here and you'll just say to yourself, okay, it's going to pop up in a second. Of course, it doesn't drop right up, but here you go. This is the girl right here. She says that she's dealing with stomach gripping or hourglass syndrome because when we were younger, she was always talking about how they need to suck in their stomachs and that there's scar tissue now. And if you sucked it in a lot and you take a little bit when you cough, she says, or when you sneeze or you haven't given birth, that you get that kind of body disfigurement. So that's her talking about this. And that's her wearing a corset. Like, she's a pretty girl, pretty young girl, and talked about this right here. And she mentions that she pulled her shirt up to show off her stomach and the area below her breasts, explaining that her upper stomach region's appearance is a result of a stomach gripping condition, spurred by squeezing in her stomach so much as a child. Well, we know that, in other countries, they talk about how they use, waist trainers or girdles or corsets or things like that, or stomach wraps to work on that. I can't even tell you, like, there's a Mexican flea market that I go to and I'll walk around because it's just really just to go there. The food smells great. There's a lot of merchandise in there to go look at. And one thing they notice in the front and center in that Mexican flea market is a place for girdles, or they call fajas, or all the waist trainers they have to go ahead and make your body have that hourglass figure. So looking back, she says she didn't think twice about sucking in her stomach until she was much older. Diet culture has real life consequences, she says, whether it being eating disorders, body dysmorphia, or even hourglass syndrome. Dr. Alexis Shoup, a physical therapist in Houston, confirmed the existence of the disorder, and it's a result of overusing the muscles. Now, they say it occurs when someone using this is using their upper abs and external obliques a lot by trying to suck in and make their stomach look flatter, or it can occur because their upper abs are much stronger than their lower abdominals. And the disorder is common among women trying to look thinner. And it's common in women who've been told to suck in, or for those who purposely did make it to make their abs seem flatter. And it'd be common with someone who could breathe more shallow breaths, not letting their diaphragm expand fully to get a full deep breath. It's amazing actually girls are able to do that, but there are girls that are willing to go and do that because it's this whole thought process of how the health and beauty industry, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? They make you say, well, how are you going to wear these clothes? How are you going to look in these clothes? And how are you going to have this kind of shape? The hourglass figure that you're expected to have, and how we're not going to be built that way. We already know there's a lot of people that are obese, present company included. So she says that young girls who fall into the diet culture trap should question the reasoning behind everything. While she struggles with body image, even as a body positive content creator, her videos like her trending clip creates a community of women who struggle similarly and can share that with each other. So it's a shame for her to have to deal with that, but I'm glad that she's able to go into that and show people out there. And plus, the other problem is that there are people that are so judgmental about girls that might not look like what the health and beauty industry perceive there needs to be. Listen, I am not some body positive activist here, nothing like that. All I'm saying is that there is something to be said about the efforts that some young women will do to make themselves fit in, especially peer pressure. And this physical therapist is talking about how the condition can lead to discomfort such as lower back pain or neck pain, and treated with physical therapy. Like, this is the problem. Also talking about that, creating a canister of pressure. And there's potential to lead to pelvic floor issues such as leaking, prolapse, dystocia recti, etc. That's a lot of crap to go through. And that's just because the girl's feeling judged by her family members, by her peers, and by people around her that she hopes she could trust and love and would show her respect. And when she's getting that kind of treatment, that's a shame to her. So it's just too bad to see that. And so we all need to understand that, we need to quit being so judgment on each other. We need to go and be, enjoying ourselves. We need to be able to go and be more depraved and debaucherous.